Star Trek, the next generation's most influential invention isn't what you think. The most influential invention to come out of Star Trek, the next generation may come as a surprise. With its feature-length premiere in 1986, Star Trek, the next generation ushered in a golden age of Star Trek and introduced a whole new era of fans to the franchise. Captain Jean-Luc Picard Patrick Stewart and his USS Enterprise D crew became just as beloved as Captain James T. Kirk, William Shatner, and his crew had been. Set about 100 years after Star Trek, the original series, TNG introduced some great new characters and technologies to the Star Trek universe. The USS Enterprise D was significantly larger than Captain Kirk's Enterprise and had several notable upgrades. Introduced in the premiere of Star Trek, The Next Generation, the holodeck was one of the major new technologies that changed the future of Star Trek. But another TNG invention had even more of an influence on every Star Trek show that followed. The crew of the Enterprise D came to feel more like a family than anything else, and the creation of the 10 Forward Lounge helped foster this feeling. Why 10 Forward is Star Trek, the next generation's most influential invention. 10 Forward first appeared in Star Trek, The Next Generation Season 2, Episode 1, The Child, as an inviting lounge area aboard the Enterprise D where crew members could take a break from their regular duties. Whoopi Goldberg's Guinan also made her debut in this episode, as the El Orion bartender who was always willing to provide a listening ear. Many important conversations occurred in 10 Forward throughout TNG's run, some of which would have felt out of place on the bridge or in someone's private quarters. Guinan was one of the few people Captain Picard sought out for advice, although the Enterprise D captain didn't frequent 10 Forward as often as his crew members. Ultimately, 10 Forward allowed TNG to reveal more about its characters, which was part of the secret to its success. While inventions like the holodeck or ungraded comm badges altered the way Star Trek tells certain stories, 10 Forward changed the way Star Trek approached its characters. Nearly every Star Trek series that followed TNG has had some kind of lounge area, allowing them to explore who their characters were during their downtime. After Star Trek, The Next Generation popularized the more casual bar setting. Many other Star Trek series followed suit. In Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Ferengi entrepreneur and occasional criminal Quark Armin Shimerman ran his eponymous establishment, Quark's Bar. From its bar to its gaming tables to its holosuites, Quark's had something for everyone and served as the location of many memorable scenes. Both Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Strange New Worlds made great use of the bars on the USS Discovery and the USS Enterprise, giving the characters a place to unwind and get to know one another. The lower deckers of the USS Cerritos also spent a decent amount of time on their ship's bar in Star Trek Lower Decks. Star Trek Picard even brought back 10 Forward itself, in the form of an actual bar located at 10 Forward Avenue in Los Angeles run by Guinan herself. All of these bars and lounges allowed their respective shows to add more depth to their characters and make them more relatable. While epic space battles are great, some of Star Trek's best scenes have come in quieter moments in locations like Star Trek, The Next Generation's 10 Forward. When fans recall Star Trek, The Next Generation, they often fixate on the grandeur of starships, the morality tales wrapped in interstellar drama, or the diplomacy of Jean-Luc Picard's raised eyebrow. Technological marvels abound in the series. The warp core hums with futuristic promise, the holodeck teases infinite virtual adventures, and the transporter dazzles with instant matter dematerialization. But none of these high-concept sci-fi tropes truly represent the next generation's most influential invention. No, the show's most revolutionary contribution wasn't flashy or even especially cinematic. It didn't produce a burst of light or a swell of orchestral fanfare. It quietly sat in the corner of 10 Forward, humming with serene efficiency. It was the Replicator, a machine that changed everything. At first glance, the Replicator seems deceptively humble. Tea. Earl Grey. Hot, Captain Picard would say, and the machine would instantly produce a steaming cup of exactly that. With the push of a button, food, clothes, tools, anything within reason could be summoned into existence from raw matter. The show often used the Replicator as background tech, a convenient plot device for explaining why no one needed money or why the crew was eating gourmet meals in deep space. But look closer, and the implications are staggering. The replicator was, in essence, post-scarcity incarnate. In the next generation, no one needs to work for food, clothing, or basic shelter. The Federation doesn't run on capitalism. Hunger is gone. Poverty is gone. Greed, largely irrelevant. The society built around the replicator doesn't just reflect technological progress, it symbolizes a radical reimagining of civilization itself. The invisible foundation of utopia. While other inventions dazzled, the replicator enabled. It was the quiet scaffolding of utopia, the technology that allowed the next generation to propose one of the boldest ideas in science fiction, that humans, unshackled from need, could become better versions of themselves. Star Trek had always hinted at this ideal. The original series spoke of a future where people no longer fought over resources. But TNG showed it in action. Here was a crew from a society where personal development, scientific inquiry, and peaceful exploration were life's pursuits. The replicator made that possible. Why chase profit when you can chase purpose? This is no small vision. In the real world, nearly every societal ill, from crime to inequality to environmental degradation, is tied to resource scarcity. The replicator was a narrative solution to that primal problem. With it, humanity wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. More than a food machine, beyond material comforts, the replicator became a metaphor for creativity, adaptability, and even diplomacy. Need a specific alloy to repair an alien device? Replicate it. Need cultural food for a visiting ambassador? Easy. The replicator became a tool of empathy. It could help people feel at home, share traditions, or solve cross-species problems with a simple command. In one episode, the crew uses the replicator to synthesize an antidote to a mysterious disease. In another, Data, the android, replicates art supplies in his quest to understand human creativity. These are not just conveniences, they are expressions of a society that uses technology to amplify humanity, not replace it. That's what makes the replicator stand apart from other sci-fi gadgets. It didn't just let humans do more, it let them do better. A blueprint for the real world. It's easy to dismiss the replicator as fantasy, and to be fair, matter synthesis at that level is far beyond our current reach. But the idea of the replicator already influences real-world technology. 3D printing, for example, is often cited as a primitive version of replicator tech. We now have machines that can fabricate tools, prosthetics, even food. But more importantly, the philosophy behind the replicator, that abundance can liberate society, is beginning to seep into modern discourse. Concepts like universal basic income, open source development, and regenerative agriculture all echo the Star Trek ethos. The replicator reminds us that innovation is not just about speed or power, but about accessibility. It asks, what happens when everyone can have what they need? Why it still matters. In a world increasingly shaped by artificial intelligence, automation, and climate challenges, the replicator feels more relevant than ever. It doesn't just symbolize convenience, it's a thought experiment in equity. What would we do with our time, our lives, if we didn't have to worry about survival? The next generation posed that question with radical optimism. Unlike the dystopian,